Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jacoby from Papa Roach, and you are watching Linea Rock.
Hi, Jacoby. Welcome to Milan and welcome to Linea Rock. Good to have you back.
It's good to be here.
Okay, in our town. So you're back on tour in whole Europe to promote the new album, Crop Teeth, which is out since mid-May 2017 and topping mainstream and alternative charts in the US and basically all over the world. So Papa Roach, we must say, is stronger than ever and even hungrier than ever. Maybe in a deeper and more mature way, but still intense. Did you perceive this newborn feeling for the band already during the recording of the new album?
Oh yeah, definitely. We were very intentional in the process of creating Crooked Teeth and what we wanted to do and what we wanted to do with the sound of the band and the visuals, the music, everything. And so we interviewed a bunch of producers, and we just came to the band conscious that we wanted to work with young, hungry, unknown producers.
Okay.
Because we worked with some of the greatest rock producers in the business, and I think this time around it was time to kind of reinvent who we were, and we decided to work with these two fellas named Colin Britton and Nick Furlong, and this is their first full-length rock record that they've produced. And so for us, our management and label thought we were crazy, but they really saw eye to eye with our vision of what we wanted to do. We wanted to take kind of the classic elements of Papa Roach and mix them with where we are now in 2016, 2017, and it's a very cool clash of styles and sounds, and just really kind of brought new life to the band.
Good. Papa Roach is one of the few bands that is actually real about what's going on in the world, from the people point of view, actually.
Oh, that's great.
And you stay with your feet on the ground, even if you have a long career. Second single, Help, and now third single, American Dreams, both deliver very strong messages. In American Dreams, you shout about the current state of America's political affairs. When did you exactly compose that song, and which was the ultimate spark to push you, reflecting on that situation? And did you ever think it could become a risky business to be so direct on such a theme?
Man, music is a great place to speak your mind, and for us, we just want to tell our truth. What I see. When we were writing the record, it was during the American elections for the presidency.
Yeah.
And it was a political shit show. It was like monkeys throwing shit at each other. And it was just like embarrassing. And, but for me, it's really, the lyrics to the chorus are American dreams, American lies. We're trying to see through the smoke in our eyes.
Yeah.
So give me some truth, don't tell me your lies. Because it's harder to breathe when you're buried alive by American dreams. And so essentially that's saying, we're just starving for truth over here. Like, it just seems like, and I think not only Americans can relate to this, but I think people from many countries all over the world in their own political climates can understand that. It's like, we just want the people that are like in power, to just be straight with us, shoot straight with us. You know what I mean? Like, don't do one thing, don't say one thing and do another thing. And that goes on all the time in politics, and it's kind of gross, man. I think the politicians could definitely learn from kids, to be honest, because we spend a lot of our time teaching our children, like, share, be nice to each other, right? Like, we teach that to our children, but then when we see like the people in power, it's like, this is mine, stay away from it, and fuck you. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's totally against like the humanity of us. And so, I don't know, man, I just see the music as something that transcends all boundaries, borders, religions, races. It cuts through all of that and just goes straight to the soul, straight to the heart, and that's like, I'm just so grateful that that's what my passion is. My passion isn't to be on the top of the political food chain, chewing other people's faces off. It's just,
I saw the official video. You put the people in the video.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the other half of America.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the people which are always ignored or actually mistreated. Was that a precise choice? And the fact that you're the only one, the only member of the band in the video, was, you know, to focus on the message more and, you know, leave space to other, you know, images, voices.
Well, you know, I think it's just a great way to highlight American culture. You know, in that music video, we really wanted to put like a spotlight on what's great about who we are as Americans. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a political landscape that what makes America America. It's
right.
The people, and you know, there's a lot of great people in America, and a lot of hardworking people, and people that just want to have happiness. Like, that's their goal. You ask them, like, what do you want in life? They're like, happiness. Like, you ask so many other people all over the world, same thing, it's what we want. You know, and so I think featuring people in there doing what makes them happy or what brings them joy in that space, I think, is very powerful.
As you stated, also in the lyrics, your father is a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah.
How has the American dream changed through his eyes and through your eyes? Is it really, you know, just American lies, as you said on the lyrics?
Well, you know, I think when you put a spotlight on American politics, it's riddled with lies and smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. So we know that. We know that's a fact. So we can move beyond that and think bigger. You know, I just think, I believe war is a human sickness.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's like, some people say like, war is necessary. Well, yeah, if you want to fucking live like a caveman for the rest of our existence, like, then yeah, I guess it is for you, but not for me. You know, like I find, you know, I'm 41 years old. I've never been in a fist fight. You know what I mean? That's in my spirit. You know, I can't change that about me. I can just find a different way to get around something. And I just, yeah, man. And as far as like the American dream goes and how it's changed, I definitely am grateful that I live in a country where I can express my feelings and thoughts about this. You know what I'm saying? Or you just think about like some communist countries or whatnot. It's like it's illegal to be gay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like archaic caveman shit right there too. You know, so every society has its ills, you know, but I feel that like it's our responsibility as humanities to like find those ills and try to grow beyond them, you know, and music is just a way for me to kind of like wrestle with those emotions and those thoughts and those ideas and you know, who knows what the future holds, but I know how I feel.
So you had, of course, the freedom of express yourself,
Yeah.
but you always sound very direct messages and with a lot of emotion. Did this ever get you in real trouble in the past or recently?
No, not really.
Not really, okay.
I mean, what's trouble? You know what I mean? It's like, so somebody doesn't like you for what you say or what you stand for, but it's like, that's what I think too in my mind. I'm like, you know, when people get online and they start talking and they're like, fuck you, fuck that, fuck this, you know, that game, it's like, they don't realize that if they're a fan of the band, they could be standing right next to somebody at a rock and roll show or on a subway. Fuck it, you're at the rock show and you could be standing right next to somebody that you would be like, fuck you to online, but then you're together at a rock show celebrating rock and roll. And so that's what I love, is that music brings people together, it unifies, you know. And so that's just, I'm just glad I got that.
And do you think that Papa Roach can raise up the new generation properly through their music? And has this ever been a goal for you?
Wow. To shoot straight, like, you know, I'm just here to like wrestle with my own demons and my own issues, and I do it publicly with music, you know?
Yeah.
And am I going to assume the role of responsible, like, here, I'm going to show you the way to do it? No. But I can show you how I feel about it and what I'm doing, and if that inspires you, then that inspires you. But as far as like a role model goes, it's like, that's tough. But it's changed because, you know, I'm a father, you know, I got 3 boys, and it's like, I want to show them the way, you know what I mean? But it's, as far as my responsibility for a generation, it's like, that's another, that seems stressful. I got 3 kids, that's enough.
Okay, so Last Resort became an anthem, still in heavy rotation everywhere after 17 years. Did it change your approach to the song due to that? And do you still feel it is a manifesto of Papa Roach?
Oh, it's definitely a powerful song. It's not in my words, but in a lot of people's words, that song has saved many lives. And I'm like, it just blows me away. Like, what if that was my only calling on this planet, was to come and be part of writing that song to give some people that are struggling through their darkness, like some hope or some light. And if that is it, like, fuck, I won. Like, good job, P. Roach, but it's a classic song. I'm so grateful to have a classic song. Like, that song still sounds fresh on the radio. It still makes crowds go crazy. People still love it. It still touches people emotionally. It's like a hand that reaches in the darkness and drags kids out. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing. And so, a lot of bands strive their whole career to have a song that influential or that has that much impact. And that was like our first song we released, and so it's like, wow, fucking, we got it all backwards, But Aerosmith, they got Dream On. Papa Roach, we got Last Resort. You know what I mean? So it's a classic.
I read that you supported Earth, Wind and Fire in your early days. Is that correct?
Yeah, we played with anybody and everybody. I mean, look out.
Well, that's very weird because you were very different bands. So how was that experience?
Oh, just big festivals, you know what I'm saying? And so they're on a festival that we're on, and it's we've supported and played with all kinds of different bands. Kings of Leon, the Ting Tangs, Eagles of Death Metal. All kinds of different bands we played. Black Eyed Peas, we supported the Black Eyed Peas.
You also collaborated with them, and also with Carlos Santana.
Yeah, that's right, Carlos Santana, so we like to mix it up. I mean, music is a melting pot.
Yeah. You've been compared a lot to Chino Moreno of Deftones, but you stated many times that your main influence as a singer has always been Mike Patton. What was so inspiring for you of his style, and did you ever meet Mike or tour with Faith No More after their reunion?
Yeah. Big fan of Mike Patton. Love what he does. Mr. Bungle, his new band, Dead Cross. Just saw them in Sacramento. I was in the mosh pit. But I've made a pact to myself that I will never meet Mike Patton. That's no, I don't ever want to meet him. It's cool. Even if I have the opportunity, I'm like, nope, it's cool. Don't want to meet him.
It has to remain in
and I think that's cool with me. Like, I'm fine with that. I think he's a great artist. Melodically, he's just so gifted. He can do anything with his voice, and that's so impressive to me. Lyrically, I'm on a different wavelength than he writes. He's got a very sarcastic, cynical approach to his music, and I have a very from the heart approach. And so there's definitely, I've found my own path, but at a young age, man, Mike Patton, just everything. He's so sick. Still love him. Still a big fan.
So you mean that you don't want to meet him? So you mean that you would never accept to have a co-headlining tour with Faith No More?
Oh man, I don't know. Who knows? Fuck, that would be amazing. I'd love to play with Faith No More. I mean, yeah. I remember we did a tour with Korn and Puffy. Mike Borden was playing with Korn at the time, and I was in the back lounge of his bus. We were smoking some pot together, and he's like, it was my birthday, and he's like, I heard it was your birthday. I'm like, yeah, it's my birthday. He's like, here's my birthday present to you. I was like, okay, what? He's like, it's just some words of advice. I'm like, okay, cool, shoot, And he's like, all the people that you meet, because this was right when we were taking off. He's like, all the people that you meet on your way to the top are all going to be all the people that you meet on your way to the bottom. So act accordingly.
So keep it in mind.
Yeah, and that was probably some of the best advice I've ever gotten from any musician or any creator. And I always try to treat people the best I can, you know what I mean? And so it definitely stuck with me.
Not many bands of the so-called nu metal scene from the 90s survived so far, especially still on top of the charts, but Papa Roach did. Did you ever give an explanation to that? What's the secret?
Well, the secret is don't be afraid of failure. You know, we've had a lot of failures as a band and writers and creators, and you know, but behind all those successes are so many failures, and I think that the willingness to just put ourselves out there, be vulnerable, and try new things has definitely helped us, and not giving up when times got tough, and just remaining passionate about the art and remaining passionate about performing and touring. And yeah, man, it's an interesting path we've taken, you know, but it's like I'm just passionate about it, and it comes out in the music and the show.
You founded Papa Roach with Dave Buckner on an high school football field, okay, in January 1993. Which is the first memory that comes to your mind, going back to that precise day, as sort of snapshots of that moment? And did you ever believe or imagine to become such, you know, true trendsetters in rock music back then?
Man, when I go back and I think of those times in my mind, it just seems like a lifetime ago. You know, I wanted to make noise. I wanted to make music. You know, we were in this small town that nothing was going on, and we just wanted to create. So we got together and started jamming, making music, and Papa Roach was born. You know, and thank God I quit playing football so I could chase this dream of rock and roll. And you know, it's worked out, and it's cool because I'm still really good friends with Dave Buckner. We just did a bunch of fundraising and efforts to take food, clothes, water, all that kind of stuff to the areas in Texas that were affected by the hurricanes recently. Yeah. So we work together, you know, and collaborate, and we're still good friends. And so it's definitely a beautiful thing. It's crazy how life changes, you know.
So was actually football your plan B back then?
No, I liked football, but you know, I was not that. I was good, but I wasn't great. You know what I mean? It was just a passion, but not mine.
Last question. You recently paid tribute to Chester Bennington of Linkin Park on stage in Vienna 4 days ago. And you stated in the past that you came close to end it all too.
Yeah.
Which was your hook, the grapple in the sky for you, you know, that opened your mind?
I just felt like, you know, honestly, I went through a really dark period of time, probably about 6 years ago. It was right when I was at the end of my drinking, and I was really in a deep dark hole, and I just wanted to end it all. And you know, it was just like I was kicked out of my home. I was about to get a divorce, and I was just like at the end, you know, like everything that I didn't want to become, I became. You know, I was an alcoholic. My family was falling apart. I didn't want to be like my dad, but all those things my dad did, you know. So I was like, oh God, you know. And I think the thing that really kind of drew me out of that was just the vision of my children living a life without their father. And I can't, that's just, it's just, I couldn't do that to my kids. You know what I mean? Like, and they say it's always darkest just before the dawn. And so that was my darkest moment, you know, but then that vision of my kids like pulled me out. Like, man, like these beautiful little rascals, they need dad. You know what I mean? So it wasn't the music, it wasn't my wife, it wasn't, you know, God, it was my kids, you know, and golly, I love them to death. I love those niños.
Thanks very much for your time, for your music, and for everything you do. Thank you. See you next time. Ciao.
Yeah. Ciao.